Hey, Run Junkies, welcome back to Runners Without Limits TV. And I'm here to say that I am not going to race this weekend. But this Sunday was supposed to be the Colfax Urban 10 miler. Now, I had set this goal at the beginning of 2022 and I registered back in February. It was supposed to be a time-based goal with my A goal being a PR. Now, often when we set goals like this, we set them pretty far out and base them off of what we expect life is going to look like, right? Now, in this case, the expectation isn't a bad thing. The expectations aren't bad. We just know what we know. Planning for all scenarios is really impossible, right? So we base our goals off of what our status quo is, and that's exactly what happened here. Life through late spring was indeed status quo. There were a lot of things going on, but nothing out of the ordinary. Now, springtime surprise, though, after that, things started to go a little sideways. And it was really only in the last week when I started asking the question, is the Colfax 10 miler something I really want? So to recap the last few weeks in a nutshell, most notably was a quick trip to San Antonio to support my friend Estrella. But there were other indicators that this race just wasn't going to fit. Now, May is always a very busy month. You've got the end of school, but add to that, we're transitioning from middle school to high school, and we have additional considerations. My son has a school trip. He's got continuation. He's got orientation for high school, other responsibilities, all to prepare for the fall already. And we have a summer to plan. There are a couple of trips that we're taking, and all of that is kind of piling up. There are other things that are affecting this weekend as well. Other people's travel schedules require some flexibility on my part, and it's my turn to hold down the fort this weekend. There are also a great many things that I would rather spend my time doing this weekend. Yeah, so spending time with my son, who's here this weekend, but also getting all of this, whatever this is, figured out for the coming months. I fell behind on my continuing education, and it's time to plug back into that. So as far as race day was concerned, logistically getting to and from the race plus picking up the packet was becoming something that I wasn't entirely comfortable with. So it's a point-to-point race. The Colfax 10 is a point-to-point race, requiring a lot more thought and stress than I was comfortable trying to figure out on my own. Now, my husband usually is an amazing support crew. He would usually accompany me for something like this just to alleviate some of that stress. But he's out of town this weekend. So I'm already not comfortable with some parts of town, especially if I'm not familiar with it. And having to navigate how to get to the start line early in the morning, then back to the start line from the finish line, it just started raising the hairs on the back of my neck. And that's something that I always try to trust. I always try to trust my gut. Now, as far as my fitness and running journey, the Colfax 10 wasn't going to be the place to show off my goals this time around. I had initially set out certain goals for myself, and I've spent the last year experimenting with other training philosophies. I've lost some speed, but I've gained other things like strength and power, balance in my fitness journey. But losing that speed and being nowhere reaching that A goal started making this race kind of optional for me. At the beginning of this season, I had overestimated where I was in my journey. I thought I was faster. I thought I was more fit. And so I chose the wrong training plan. I chose the wrong level, and it didn't fit. And about halfway through the training cycle, I realized this. Not that it was too late to change it, but that's when I started noticing and figuring out maybe this isn't the right season for me. I need to be focusing on other things this season. There's just a lot right now. It's just a lot of little things piling up that if I were to add the stress of a race day effort, it was just one more thing. So if there was one thing to let go of, it was that race. You guys, spring races have never really been my favorite. It's not my favorite season to race. Never has been. And the timing of the year is always at its busiest. May is just a really busy month. Now, guys, this isn't me pitching a fit and taking my toys and going home because I'm not as fast as I hoped I would be. The healthy reality is that I don't need this race to prove anything. I am where I am right now, and I'm fine with it. I have bigger fish to fry, and forcing this race into already stressful circumstances doesn't make any sense. My time is better spent elsewhere and with other people, so that's where I'm going to spend it. Now, in the end, when I really looked at it, my heart wasn't in it. I'm going to have no FOMO over this race, and frankly, once I decided to not show up, the sense of relief I felt was palpable, and that right there tells me that I'm making the right decision. So no, I'm not racing. In fact, I'm downshifting, and I'm getting back to basics for the summer. Next week, I'll fill you in on what's next for me and my running journey and what I'm going to be doing going forward. So please like, subscribe, and tell your friends. My question for you today is this. Have you ever decided that a race ended up being something you didn't want to do? If so, why? I would love to know. Please let me know in the comments, plus any other thoughts, questions, or suggestions for future videos. And that's going to do it for me today, you guys. So we'll see you on the next one. Until then, remember, you have no limits. Happy running.